Our top focus story on this special broadcast is a statement that's coming in from US President Donald Trump here in Canada. President Trump has made it very clear the United States stands with Israel. He said, and I quote, "We have always supported Israel." Now, this is President Trump's first summit remarks at G7. He slammed not just Justin Trudeau, the earlier Prime Minister of Canada, but also Barack Obama, the earlier President of the United States, for throwing out Russia from G7. Remember, G7 used to be G8 earlier between 2014 when Russia, of course, was thrown out. Donald Trump has said Iranians want to talk about de-escalation. Iran is not winning this war. They should talk before it's too late. That's that big point US President Donald Trump is making. Remember, G7 is a very powerful body of the 7 strongest economies in the world. But Donald Trump says it should have been G8. It was wrong on the part of leaders like Justin Trudeau and Barack Obama to have thrown Russia out on the issue of the Ukraine war at that point of time, the operations that were going on in Crimea. I'll tell you more about it, but before I get you more on the story, let's listen in to US President Donald Trump here in Canada at G7.
They'd like to talk, but they should have done that before. I had 60 days and they had 60 days, and on the 61st day I said, we don't have a deal. They have to make a deal, and it's painful for both parties, but I'd say Iran is not winning this war, and they should talk, and they should talk immediately before it's too late.
And I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Pranay Upadhyay for more on this big story. Pranay, that's a big statement that's coming in from the US President. So let's break it down in 2 parts. One, very strongly stand with Israel, and that's obvious. 2, it should have been G8 and not G7. Wrong on the part of Obama and Trudeau to have thrown Russia out. Now, that's a big statement at a time when he's already in touch with the Russian president on the Russia-Ukraine war.
Absolutely, Gaurav. But since you have also covered the previous tenure of President Donald Trump between 2016 to 2020, you would recall, Gaurav, that this has been his consistent position because Russia was thrown out of G8 post-Crimea incident in 2013-14, and President Donald Trump, at that time also, he said that it was a wrong decision to throw out Putin because he thinks that, without isolating Putin, isolating Russia will not going to solve the problem. Even in this presidency, he has maintained this thing. As far as the Iran-Israel conflict is concerned, on that count as well, President Donald Trump and the US president's position is quite clear as far as siding with Israel is concerned. But there's a very significant statement which has just now come in. That is from the Iranian Foreign Minister Sayyid Abbas Araghchi, and he said he has accused Israel and the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But on the other side, this Abbas Araghchi has clearly said that it needs only one phone call from Washington, D.C. to Benjamin Netanyahu, and we can go back to the path, we can go back to the table of diplomacy. So this is a very clear indication from Iranian side as well that Iran is willing to engage with United States on diplomacy, but provided a situation comes to that point by the cessation of missile strike, by the cessation of airstrike by Israel. So there is something which is going on in back-channel diplomacy. Also, President Putin speaking to President Donald Trump, President Putin speaking to Masoud Pezeshkian, who's president of Iran. So there is clearly some diplomacy happening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also reaching there in Canada, Gaurav, and you would be tracking more developments from there.